The Lord be with you. A Catholic priest named Johann Thaler tells of meeting a poor man along the road one day. "God give you a good day, my friend," said Thaler. The poor man answered, "I thank God I never have a bad day." Thaler, astonished, kept silent for a moment, then added, "God give you a happy life, my friend." The poor man answered, "I thank God I am never unhappy." "Never unhappy?" cried Thaler. "What do you mean?" "Well," came the reply, "when it is sunshine, I thank God. When it is rain, I thank God. When I have plenty, I thank God. When I am hungry, I thank God. And since God's will is my will, and whatever pleases God pleases me, why should I say that I am unhappy when I am not?" Thaler looked upon him with awe. "Who are you?" he asked. "I am a king," said the poor man. "A king?" Thaler asked. "Where is your kingdom?" The poor man smiled and answered simply, "In my heart." Do you remember the movie Men in Black? I don't remember if it was number 1 or 2 or 3 or 7 of the franchise, but I do remember the plot. A galaxy, yes, an entire galaxy, had been hidden to protect it from aliens who wanted to strip it of its resources and destroy it. Well, the race was on. Would Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones find the galaxy before the evil aliens did? As it turns out, the galaxy was hidden in a small decorative marble hanging from a pet cat's collar. An entire galaxy hidden in a 1-inch marble. "Where is your kingdom?" Thaler asked. The poor man smiled and answered simply, "In my heart." As followers of Jesus, you and I carry around an entire kingdom in our hearts. The love of the Most High God in our hearts. The throne from which God reveals the perfect will for our lives, the will that shall direct our every footstep, in our hearts. The great cloud of witnesses who now live eternally in the very presence of God, in our hearts. Every blessing Jesus has ever given, every word of forgiveness granted from heaven's gates, in our hearts. Every mercy bestowed, every prayer answered, every goodness poured out from our loving God's hand, in our hearts. All of God's promises, all of God's protection and care, all of God's compassion and infinite grace, in our hearts. Do you remember the first wireless phones? We called them bricks, even though they were much bigger than the size of a brick and usually weighed more too. Now we carry our phones in our pockets, and they have more computer power in them than the entire Gemini space program did. And speaking of computers, do you remember how large they used to be? And now they are small and light as a feather, holding terabytes of information. The world in so many ways is getting smaller. A galaxy hidden in a small marble dangling from a pet cat's collar? That's just the stuff of movies. But an entire kingdom hidden in our hearts? That's just the stuff of faith. of faith that moves mountains, that walks on water, that changes water into wine, that turns crucifixion into resurrection and death into new life, that gives sight to the blind, that cleanses lepers, that defeats our Goliaths, that risks 99 sheep to look for the one sheep that is lost, that causes a woman to give birth in her 80s, that causes bread to fall from the sky, that brings down the massive walls of fortified cities, that rejoices in the successes of others, and determines the ocean's tides. And where is your kingdom? Taller asked the man. The poor man smiled and answered simply, in my heart. Amen.